What's up, guys? Studfit here. I'm joined by Antilev for another episode of the Rundown, this time in the Bowser Tour. What's going on, Antilev? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
You know what? It's been a long week. It's been one of those weeks where I was in Baltimore for a conference Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Had a little bit of delay getting all this content put together for you. So I appreciate everyone's patience. Before we get any further, I just thank you guys so much for your understanding and your support. I always want to keep the rundown going, but we might run into just some scheduling. I know I'm traveling the next 2 weeks. I think I'll be in Charleston, South Carolina next week, and then the following week in maybe Houston. So it's going to be a little, so just, buckle up if you are enjoying this content. I want to keep it coming, but everyone's patience goes a long way. So I appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. Especially thank you to all of our super studs. I haven't been able to update this just based on my schedule. It's been absolutely insane. But I think this is generally probably about 90% correct. Huge shout out to all of our mods. You see the Hero of the Skies, Draco, Eat Deedle, Puffton, and a special thank you to Larry98, as you see there with the mod and the circle around his name. He is not only a super stud and been that for over a year, but also our data guru, and he's helped us put together these slides for as long as, basically probably even longer than you've been with us, Antilev. But it's honestly an honor to have Larry involved. I think that there's so many great resources I want to thank in the community that help us get things. So we have something at the very, very end. I'll let you know, it's at the very end. It's a spoiler, thanks to Koopa Visa. We also have had a lot of support from Turtle Dude and from Sam78IT, and so many people who are willing to help us out. But I just want to let you know, Larry is like literally our coach, helping us out, making sure everything is prepped. And so I just always I thank him every episode, but a special thanks this episode as we get into the Bowser Tour, which has been, for what little time I've had to be able to do things Mario Kart related, playing the game has been at least for ranked, has been absolutely an absolute ball. I've had a lot of fun just being able to grind these Bowser Castle tracks, and a lot of boomboxing for myself. I went all in on the Larry Misu. So I know these are in a different order here compared to what we were talking about, but we have to jump into Larry Misu at the very, very beginning of this. So there's a little switch up here. For myself, I actually had quite a conundrum last tour where I had to decide, do I want to win ranked and be able to get closer to the expert challenges or whatever it is that you have to win a certain amount at tier 99, or save my tickets to take Larry to level 8 triple uncapped. And I was able to do it, and he's been an absolute blast. And I will say, on this Bowser Castle that's in ranked and that most of you guys have already completed, it's you could use Meowser, and honestly you could probably get an extra 20 actions using Meowser than him, but the base points are insane. So I've been using him, and it's been actually a lot of fun to use him. So I'll start with you, Antilev. What's your thoughts on Larry, and if you want to start it even before that, on what your thoughts are on this tour?
Yeah, so I have a special kind of affinity for Bowser tours in general. Like, my first top 10 was during the New Year's tour, where we got Meowser as a new driver. My first ACR badge on my free-to-play account was the Bowser tour last year, and I love the Bowser's Castle tracks, like all of them. Even the ones that people don't like, I like them. So this tour is awesome. The new tracks are awesome. It's amazing what they've done with the SNES Bowser Castle 3 and Bowser Castle 4 is like, it looks like it doesn't look like an old, super 30-year-old retro track. It looks like a modern a Mario Kart 2 or Mario Kart 8 track. It's fantastic. And the ACR track selection is phenomenal, leaving Kalimar Desert out of it, but the rest, great tracks. Neo Bowser City, for example, and all the Bowser's Castles. We finally have Bowser's Castle 2 RT back after, I think it was October 2021 the last time we saw it. So it's been over a year and a half. So that's finally back. That was the last track a lot of drivers had to see. Didn't actually get that many buffs, but well. Anyway, we have 4 new drivers, 4 new Miis. One of whom is a plus skill driver. My recommendation on this one is really good starting set of tracks. You see what they've got there. Some like, so one thing that's pretty important to mention, the way that we talk about these things. There's Bowser's Castle, like the GBA Bowser's Castles, and those are numbered. And then there's the new one, SNES Bowser Castle, not Bowser's Castle, but Bowser Castle. So Bowser Castle 3 is different than Bowser's Castle 3. And then we've got plain Bowser Castle, which
that's
is
just crazy, by the way. That's how it was back in the SNES or some of the?
Yes.
That's when they made that mistake, right? This is not a new mistake. This is an old mistake.
This is not really a mistake. This is just kind of keeping it, to how it was back then. So, for all the spreadsheets and things, that's how we're referring to them, Bowser Castle 3 versus Bowser's Castle 3. So what we're looking for in the 4 new drivers is, how many of these new tracks are they getting? How many of the super old tracks are they getting? And then we've got some returning tracks. We've got the RMX Bowser's Castle, and we've got Bowser's Castle 3, which both came out in the Bowser Tour last year, but they're still kind of newish tracks. They still get some bonus for being newer. So we're looking at Larry, it's a pretty good start. 7 tracks rather, sorry. We've got 2 Bowser's Castle RTs. Those are the Bowser's Castle 3 RT was a newer track in the more recently. It wasn't the Bowser's. That's an even newer track. You've got RMX Bowser Castle 1R and Bowser's Castle 3T. So those 3 tracks are not new tracks, but recent tracks. You've got the 2 Bowser's Castles 1N and 1T, and then you've got the 2 new tracks, Bowser Castle 3 in ranked and Bowser Castle 3 RT at level 8 unlock. Week 2 rank, so it's a pretty good start, but basically this is going to be your driver to pick up this tour just because of the plus skill. Like the other Misu drivers might have slightly better starting set of tracks quality wise, but I mean it's a boomerang Misu driver. Doesn't matter what your account is, I would recommend picking this guy up for 70 rubies. This is a total steal.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. It's weird when they come out with somebody and you're like, man, I know this is coming next tour. I hope they don't do them dirty, and by having a number of options for ranked, including this level 8 unlock. So for those who were running into some issues for ranked, being able to use that Bowser Castle 3 RT, there's a nice option at level 8 to unlock. So I think that's kind of as we're now into recording this on Tuesday, leading into the next tour. It's always going to be helpful for us to kind of focus on week 2, because week 1's just about over. So some of these investments you've already made, you've already sunk in those. So ultimately, I think Larry has a great start. I don't think they did him dirty at all, considering the fact that he's a plus skill, and certainly we've seen a lot worse over the years. I absolutely love him, but I think everyone's. I know there's a lot of people also looking forward to Morton coming out next tour, and hoping that they can use the giant banana instead. So
I love giant banana.
Take that into consideration. I think obviously everyone's kind of getting the Mii to a certain point.
If we're getting Morton, we don't know.
The Morton Mii.
One other thing about Larry, he does have quite some overlap. But again, it's a Mii suit, so unless it's overlapping with another plus skill Mii suit, and more specifically, he's overlapping only with a coin box Mii or another boomerang Mii.
Hey, your mic just cut out. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened.
Is it okay now?
Yep, you're good now.
What happened there? Okay. So the overlap is, don't worry about the overlap unless it's overlapping with he's got 2 overlaps with gold Mii, so that's a little concerning. That's really the only one I would worry about looking at his overlaps. He does have quite some overlaps with some plus skills. PD Piranha Gold, PD Piranha, Meowser, Kamak. But yeah, really the only one I'd be worried about here is the gold Mii racing suit. And it's only 2 tracks, out of the 7.
Yeah, there you go. Again, we'll see how his tracks go forward. I think what's great about all the drivers, or really all the items this tour, is we just got done with a nitro tour, and then we got a city tour. So we might go 2 or 3 tours without having another nitro, without having another city track. And so from that perspective, like, this is the perfect time to get a new driver. And you kind of get a nice little theme aspect of it, where you get all these Bowser's Castles. So like when Bowser Castle comes back, you probably have a nice couple options there for you. Now, I think some of these are a little tricky, some of these top shelves, especially for drivers. So you got like that. But let's talk about some of the less obvious Miis. We obviously have Iggy here with 6 new tracks. What's your thoughts on Iggy's new this new driver, the Iggy Mii?
Okay, so like we're in a meta now where you can start to seriously consider any Mii driver, regardless of their skill. Iggy actually had a pretty good start. I have him kind of neck and neck with Ludwig as the second best driver, and if you would take skill out of it, I think it's actually maybe has the best starting set of tracks. 4 of his this Iggy Mii Suits tracks are new tracks. You've got Bowser's Castle 4, the infamous ranked one with no plus skills top shelf. So that's a huge get, at least for now. You got SNES Bowser Castle 3T. That's another new one. It's not in ranked, unfortunately. You've got RMX Bowser's Castle 1RT. That's a new track, and it's in ranked in week 2. It's a level 6 unlock, but still. And then you've got Bowser's Castle 4R, which is a level 8 unlock, but not in ranked. So 4 of the 6 tracks are brand new tracks. And then 2 older tracks with Calamari Desert 2RT with New Bowser City RT, but I mean, a phenomenal starting value. So definitely, if you're a Mii Suit enthusiast, this guy has a promising start. The skill is a bit kind of, triple green shells is a bit, I don't know, but
hard to get excited about triple shells, but it is fun. I remember, I think I used it for like one of the today's challenges this week, and it was kind of fun to use that skill again. It was like, wow, this is actually kind of fun. And I think that's what's great about the Miis, is that, unfortunately they've kind of killed off some of the other drivers, but they've brought back to life some of the skills for what it's worth. Again, never waste a crisis is what they like to say. So I think from this perspective, at least we get to enjoy that. So that's, at least we got that going for us, which is nice. Then we had the Ludwig Mii Suit. You want to talk a little bit about our boy Ludwig?
Yeah, so, one other thing I forgot to mention about Iggy, very, very little overlap. The only overlap is with plus skill driver is with Toad Tourist with 2 times. So other than that, it doesn't overlap with anything else more than once as far as plus skills go. Ludwig has a little bit more overlap, starting with 7 tracks, so that's a bit normal. Like 3 overlaps with Gold Mii Racing Suit, I would say, is the most worrying part. Also 3 overlaps with Mario Samurai, but pretty good quality tracks. I would say not quite as good as Iggy, but he also has 1 more track. So you've got Bowser's Castle 4 at level 8. You've got the Bowser Castle 3RT, which is week 2 ranked, a new one, and Bowser Castle 3R. So 3 new tracks of the 7. You got a couple of those 3DS Bowser's Castle and RT, and then you got 2 really old tracks, Bowser's Castle 2R and Neo Bowser City T. So I would say this is a little bit more quantity over quality, but still a pretty nice starting set. And overlap-wise, like I said, like Gold Mii Racing Suit 3 times, as I would say, is probably the biggest worry for Ludwig. But he's got the dash ring, which is it's not gonna help you score more, but it feels nice to play with. The dash ring, I quite like it. So I would say it's, like I said, I have him kind of neck and neck with Iggy for my number 2 new driver this tour.
Okay. Well, curious now where Roy fits in. Obviously, he's a ranked reward.
At the end.
What's that?
At the end.
At the end. All right. It's unfortunate because you got like a guy in pink. But for a ranked reward, you get the base points. Congratulations. Honestly, it's one when you're trying to win between week 1 and week 2. Week 1 is the preferred. Not that you can really take our advice at this point. Now that week 1 is just about over. But it is nice to get those base points and to have that reward. That is something that is beneficial from the way that the Miis are placed right now. But tell us a little bit about the Roy Mii Suit. Oh no, your mic dropped out again. Sorry, we knew.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Sorry. So triple double bombs. I don't know why that keeps happening. So double bombs, which is kind of similar to the triple green shells. It's a sort of annoying skill, not the greatest to work with. 6 starting tracks, and Yes, Bowser's Castle 4R and Bowser Castle 3T at level 8. But other than that, no new tracks. So only 2 of the 4 are new. One is level 8 unlock, and that's some pretty old tracks here. Airship Fortress RT, Bowser's Castle 1R. I would say the worst starting quality of the tracks. The good news is this one is the ranked reward. So if you have a really tough rank and you don't get it, I would say this is the suit I would be least worried about missing out on this tour.
But those base points, man, those base points are juicy. Let's get into the carts. We got this black Jingle Bell cart, which again, I think the entire community is like, what is going on? You guys realize it's not December. We don't need any type of Jingle Bell. So tell us a little bit about its starting coverage. It certainly looks like it starts with 10 Bowser's Castles. What's your thoughts on its starting coverage?
Yeah, so first thing is like none of the carts this tour are big carts, right? So they're like nothing is like, hey, this one has a weak starting coverage, but its unlock kind of might kind of save it. That's not the case in this tour, I would say. So the Black Jingle Bell, it's like it has an okay starting coverage. Overlap wise, it's overlapping. It's got some overlaps like Green Yellow Capsule Cart 4 times, Silver King 4 times, Warrior Wagon 5 times, Tropical Truck 3 times, the Gold Bullet Blaster 3 times, Blazing Eagle 3 times. Blazing Eagle is like just crazy lately. As far as the quality of the starting tracks, it's got a couple of new ones. We got the 4R, it's got the RMX Bowser Castle 1RT, it's got some recent ones and it's got some older ones, so it's just kind of a mix there, but it's not like blowing you away with like 4 or 5 new tracks. It's like just okay, and then combined with its size, I would say it's one you could easily pass up.
Okay, fair enough. One size that might be even worse than the Jingle Bell, Dry Bones Dasher, the commemorative item.
Yeah.
I think we all like commemorative items in general, but this hitbox is like one of the teeniest, tiniest. Tell us, is it worth even getting at this point?
Yeah, so like also starting with 10 tracks, it's pretty small. It's not like a Cheer Mellow Marshmallow small, but it's definitely on the smaller side. Starting with the 10 new tracks, same as the Black Jingle Bell, and actually it has 6 overlaps with the Black Jingle Bell. So if you are going to pick up a cart for this tour, I would say pick one or the other, not both. Overlaps again, 4 with Silver King and Warrior Wagon, 3 with Green Yellow Capsule, 3 with Gilded King. I don't know, 3 with Blazing Eagle, but not quite as much meta overlap as the Black Jingle Bell. However, the start, 3 new tracks and a battle course, that's not bad. And then we've got 4 new tracks. Sorry, it's got also the Bowser Castle 3RT. So it's in that 2-rank Bowser Castle 3RT, which is kind of a tough one. 2 Bowser Castles 4, both. So the interesting thing about this tour, I forgot to mention, Bowser Castle 4 only has the N and R variants. There's no Bowser Castle 4T. There's no Bowser Castle 4RT. That's the first time I think they've ever done that. Wow. Putting in a set of a new course and only including 2 variants. So I wonder if it's just too complicated or what they're doing. But yeah, so we only have 7 new tracks instead of 9, which you might expect otherwise. And then 3 very old tracks with Bowser's Castle 1R, Bowser's Castle 2, Bowser's Castle 2R. So a kind of a mix, but like 4 new tracks and a battle course out of the 10. So it's actually not that bad of a start. I have it as the highest rated start from all 3 carts, and pretty significantly as well. But again, that hitbox, man, yeah. It's tough. We go from another tough one to a gold tough hitbox. That's the Gold Sushi Racer. The Gold Sushi Racer. This one does not look that promising starting out with. I think we're starting out here with 9 tracks, so a little bit less. It's got 4 overlaps with the Yellow Off-Roader, so that's already a bad sign. 3 with Warrior Wagon, 3 with Silver King, 3 with Shielded Speedster, 3 with Red Off-Roader, 3 with Pop Kart. That's a lot of meta carts right there. You probably have all these tracks like pretty well covered. It does have 1 new track, 2 new tracks in Bowser's Castle, Bowser's Castle, RMX Bowser's Castle 1RT, sorry, and it's got the Bowser's Castle 3RT, which is not a new track, but it is the newest of the returning tracks. It is in ranked week 2, so it does have those two week 2 ranked, and this was a gold pass gift if I'm not mistaken. So if you do a gold pass, you will be able to use it twice in week 2 ranked. Only the RMX Bowser's Castle 1RT is a level 6 online. But other than that, the starting coverage is not good. 2 Column Deserts, 2 Airship Fortresses, which is a great track, but it's old. Bowser's Castle, 3DS Bowser's Castle N. So starting there, 5 of the 9 tracks are very old tracks. And yeah, sorry, no, 6 of the 9 because it's got Bowser's Castle RT as well. So a pretty bad start, and it's probably going to continue on with the trend of gold karts, gold pass gifts not being very good.
Yeah, that's been the trend. It's just tough, man. It's really hard to get excited about any of the gold items anymore. We kind of just lump them in. It is nice on some of the Turtle Dudes pairings that we talked about in the top 10. You start to see like the Gold Bruiser, a couple in there, but again, they're just so hard to know if they're gonna do any well. But I really think they're just kind of giving people something, and they're like, what can we give them that it feels like we're giving them a high end, and they can think that they're getting something, but in reality, they're absolute garbage. So,
but actually, we're just giving them crap. Yeah.
I don't know. It's like getting a sticker from Walmart. We got the Royal Oil Paper Glider. Obviously, it looks beautiful. Got a cool look to it. But obviously, just like everything this tour, all Bowser's Castles, or even got a little bit of Kalimar Desert in there, Neo Bowser City. Some of these older tracks. I mean, really, you're always looking for the new tracks released this tour, of which it has one. So, what's your thoughts on the Royal Oil Paper Glider?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I love the oil papers, and I really love the way this one. I think it's a great looking glider, and I'd love to get it and use it. And then this one is a ranked award, I believe, in week 1.
Yep.
You could do that, but yeah, it's really got only one new track in Bowser's Castle 3T. It does have the week 2 ranked track Bowser's Castle 3R2. That's okay, but other than that, it's got 6 ancient tracks: Airship Fortress RT, Bowser's Castle 2RT, 2 Column Desert variants, 2 Neo Bowser City variants. So 6 of its 9 starting tracks are very, very old and not high quality coverage. You probably have those all well covered by now. Overlap wise, it's got 3 overlaps with the Lava Rocks, 3 with Silver Luigi's mustache, 3 with the Dry Bowser umbrella, 3 with the Dragon Wings, 3 with the Black Star Shoot, 3 with Black Great Sail. Again, some older items because it has a lot of old coverage, but some items which were previously very, very meta. So it's a good chance you have these tracks already covered.
Yeah, I will say for what it's worth that Bowser's Castle 3RT, the SNES one that it gets here, it's actually, I'm sorry, it's the
GBA one.
GBA, right? Which is actually it's actually a tough one because I think that's the Origami Glider is like the only one that a lot of people have. Other than that, it's really tough to cover. So might be a good option for you. Keep that in the back of your mind if you got it in ranked. And then of course we had the Gold Manta Glider, which out of all the gold gliders, like this is actually probably one of my favorite looking. It's just so sweet, just that gold and yellow there. But what's your thoughts on its coverage?
Yeah, so like my gold items, and this one is I think ranked reward in week 2. So unfortunately, not gonna be able to use it at all this tour. However, the starting coverage is actually pretty okay. It's starting out rank 105, which is quite high for a new item. That's out of 210 gliders totally, so it's just in the top half. So it's definitely better than the Royal Oil Paper. It's starting with 10 tracks. Overlap wise, you have the Origami Glider, Black Great Sail 4 times, Wicked Wings, Wicked Topaz, Lava Rocks, Golden Wings, Gold Toby and Balloons, Candlelight Flight, Black Star Shoot, 8-Bit Bill 3 times all. So quite a lot of overlap again. But this starting coverage is actually it's definitely better. It's not like spectacular, but it's definitely better. You've got a Bowser's Castle 4R as a new track. You've got Bowser's Castle 3RT, which is in week 2 ranked. Unfortunately, you can't use it. And it's also got so it's got 2 week 2 ranked tracks, but you won't be able to use them for that. But it does have 3 new tracks. 3 new tracks. I would say two airship fortresses, Bowser's Castle 2, Bowser's Castle RT, Bowser's Castle. Yeah, so something like 6 of the 10 are like older tracks or very old tracks, but it's still, I would say, better than the Roy Oil Paper. If you can pick one glider that I think will do better, would be the Gold Manta. But neither one of these is spectacular starting wise. So not too much to write home about the gliders this tour.
Yeah, you know, stuff. It's like we got the Miis, and then we have some small karts, and then some erroneous gliders.
This tour is not about the items, you know. I mean, like Larry Mii suit is really cool, but other than that, not impressed with the items. I will say the Manta family of gliders have all been like solid performers in their time. We haven't had one bad Manta glider, I would say. Even the Polka Manta, which is kind of not quite as great as the other ones, still was pretty good for a while. So if you're a believer in quality groupings, Mantas have been good.
Yeah, you know, it's so weird because they kind of jump in to be really helpful at first and then just kind of fall off. I mean, I have like the Silver Manta glider at like level 8, but
well, yeah, I mean, but they're all pretty old now, right? So,
oh yeah, I mean, that's the thing is I had to use it for the first time in like 6 months the other day, and I literally was scrolling all the way to the right because you know how like stuff that you're using is all the way down the left. I was like scrolling, I was like, whoa, I have good coverage on this track, but man, it's just one of those things where they kind of accelerated a little too quick, but then they rode their high pretty well, and then just unfortunately kind of fell off. So that is kind of the nature of the Manta beast there. Now, for the Daily Spotlight Shop, this is old news. Most likely you've seen a lot of these things for the last week, so we won't spend too much time on this. But I think when you're looking at the different options for karts and gliders, those are what I'm always focusing on. A lot of good karts. I think in general, you have some good options, even at the high chances there. Silver King's been strong. You know, you have the Lightning McQueen doing really well, and certainly a number of other options down below. Things like Schiller Speedster, Armored Rider, Flowery Bandwagon, things that you're Blazing Eagle. I mean, these are things that you've seen the last couple tours. So most likely you probably snatched up something this week. So we won't spend any time on this, but just from our perspective, you know, I think that there's been some good options this tour. Overall, I consider it relatively positive. I mean, I think Bowser's items are always cool looking anyway, whether it's gliders or karts. So fun ones to get. I still kind of been passing on a couple of these options myself, but it's been really tempting. You're running out of rubies this tour. I mean, between getting all the Miis and like all the other stuff going on, you're just kind of running out of rubies. So myself personally, it's been really tough just kind of seeing some of these items in my Daily Spotlight Shop and not being able to pull the trigger. But we're going to go ahead and jump it right into the buffs and kind of save some time there. I think when it comes to these buffs, there's a couple winners, and it's really tough to when you're looking at these slides because you never know. You see a lot of red. You see a lot of Bowser's castles across the board. But ideally, you kind of want to have some of the newer Bowser's castle or Bowser castle. So we'll start with the drivers with 4 buffs. All right, so let's get to the buffs. We got the Pokey Mii suit, the Piranha Plant Mii suit, and Toad Tourist. Of course, the one that everyone's looking at is Toad Tourist. How's he doing? I think right off the bat, this coming off of really what was City Tour, you're hoping for more. You know, here he comes with Bowser Castle 3RT, the Game Boy Advance version, and that's about it. I mean, really, the rest of it's garbage. Now, it's nice to have a giant banana driver on some of these tracks that may not have had one, but ultimately you wanted more. This is kind of a little lackluster concerning he got 4 buffs. You know, it's kind of like how I've been considering maybe even the Blue Crawley carts the last couple tours. It's like it's been always getting the quantity. Quality's been sus, and I think that's the case with Toad Tourist. You're really happy though we got the Bowser's Castle 3RT. You get to use them in ranked. That is a tough one to cover. Some of the other options are really hard to do, especially if you aren't invested in Miis. So that truck is good. For drivers with 3 buffs, this is where we have kind of the winner's circle, guys, because this is where we have a lot of top drivers getting really good buffs. This is what I think right off the bat, though, I do have to admit the PD Piranha Gold, maybe not the best. I did get one of the Bowser's Castles, but it's the 4R. It's the one that's not in ranked. Again, he's been, I think when we were looking at some of the ranked rewards, we right as the pipe was going away, we were expecting more. We were expecting these guys like, hey, you don't have pipes, you want us to win ranked, you just got, some other rewards that were really good, such as, question mark block and others that seem to be really good. But PD Piranha Gold has not been as good as you want him to be. At this point in time, he should be peaking. I mean, right now, if you think about where Meowser was peaking and where he was our number one driver in the game, kind of same distance, kind of same buffing cycle that PD Piranha Gold should be at right now, but he's not. I mean, even the fact that he's at number 7 is great for him. I mean, it's phenomenal, but he should be at 1. I mean, if he was getting the right buffs, he would be the number 1 driver. Giant hitbox, he should be crushing it, but he's not. He's good. It's nice to use him every so often. He does have that giant hitbox. He's got a good number of tracks at this point, but he's not in ranked. He's not getting all the newer tracks. Right now, he just gets 1 for this tour. For White Tanuki Mario, really happy with that Bowser's Castle 3 there, the SNES one that's in ranked. You gotta love that. Even got a Constellation Bowser's Castle 4R, pretty nice there. Later in wintertime, this Bowser's Castle 1RT, the remix version, pretty hard to cover, so you're really happy about that. The rest is kind of really tough to get excited about that. Larry Wintertime, he's been consistently getting like 1 track a tour, and for a coin box driver, sometimes that's all you need. For a smaller hitbox driver, you kind of wanted a little bit more. Maybe you were kind of hoping to be a coverage king, and maybe Nintendo would help him out in that area. But I think he's consistent, pretty solid considering the fact that he's in our top 10 here. Yellow Me Racing Suit got that SNES Bowser's Castle 3RT. Really nice track there, and the rest are not so great. But overall, I mean, I think the Yellow Me compared to the other Miis has been above average. I don't think it's been great. Some people have been riding it high. I think just for myself, I've had it at 7 for a while and haven't had the need to take it all the way to 8. So again, kind of waiting a little bit longer to see what happens. But we have another giant banana driver coming next tour. A lot of people are pumped about that.
We probably have one next tour. We don't know.
Probably. Yeah, exactly. Toad Astronaut though, not great. Now he's been crushing it basically all year. Since he's been released, he's been in ranked. He's been getting great buffs. This one not so great. And some of these already had boomerang drivers, but overall, I mean, I was hoping he could ride it out for one more tour, but I don't know. Maybe I think he might be. I don't see him getting to that number 1 spot in our top 10. He's just outside the top 10 here. I think a lot of people were just based on his release and how much he was crushing it right out the gate. It's kind of sad to see that starting to wane, especially now that we just got through a city tour and a nitro tour back to back, where he was crushing it, but in probably maybe not necessarily in the best tours. Light Blue Shy Guy does get the Bowser's Castle 1RT, the Game Boy Advance one, so that's a nice ranked track there. Number 15 on our list, but I don't know. I think for Lucky 7 drivers, you kind of were hoping for a little bit more. He had a nice hot start as well. Then we got the Santa Me. Not great for him. He just gets that Bowser's Castle 3T. But he is number 18 on our list, which, for a Mii suit's not too bad. Now you got the Cheap Mii, which for whatever reason, they keep throwing in ranked and keep tempting us to throw tickets on it. I've still resisted, but who knows? Maybe one day it gets 30 tracks. I'm like, let's go. So it's been on the fringe. I've been toying with it. I think if the Snowland track came back that he was in ranked, I might pull the trigger, but not as of right now. Right, we're hit the point where it's hard to invest in these non-skill Miis, but he is one of the more enticing ones. We got Black Mii getting the Bowser's Castle 1RT, and that's probably where I'm drawing the line. A lot of people were looking at Poochie saying, "Hey, we got Poochie coming in a Nitro tour, followed by a City tour. Now's the time to crush it. Now when he should be getting peak buffs." Unfortunately, just gets 1 ranked buff. That's the Bowser's Castle 3RT. Does get the Bowser's Castle 4R, but again, that's not in ranked. And then you have a nice little super action here on the Bowser's Castle 1RT. So if you don't have good coverage there, he might be able to help you out in a bind. But there you go. Drivers with 4 buffs, 3 buffs. Antilev, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so there's a huge amount of buffs in this tour. There's 399 buffs for returning items in total, which is the most we've ever had for a for a retro tour where cities aren't involved. So a crazy amount of buff, and that's only with 7 new tracks. So I think it's just a lot of old tracks I haven't seen for a while coming back. But the quality of the buffs isn't really that high. So I had a look. Basically, what I'm looking at mostly for the quality of buffs is are they getting new tracks? Because the newest tracks aside from tracks in this tour, well, there's Bowser's Castle 3 RT, which is pretty recent. But aside from that, I think you have to go back to the Bowser tour to get the most recent tracks, and that's talking about 8-9 months old already, that tour. So those tracks are getting up there in age. There are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drivers who got 2 buffs of new tracks or more. That's Black Me Racing Suit, Cheap Me Racing Suit, Dr. Luigi, Dr. Peach, Luigi Chef, Luigi Golf, Piranha Plant Me Racing Suit, great one, Poochie, and White Tanuki Mario. So Poochie did get some good quality buffs, even though he only got the 1 ranked buff. White Tanuki Mario as well, for an older driver, did great. Yeah, in general, that's what I'm focused on between these drivers and also the drivers with 2 buffs. Cheap Me Racing Suit, I heard you mention. That's that's one I've kind of got my eye on. It's on my maybe list, and every tour I'm kind of like, should I put tickets on it or not? Yeah, I'm gonna take the other perspective than you on the yellow suit. It's been great for me. I actually got to level 8 not that long ago, and I'm using it all the time. I'm using it again. So disclaimer, as most people know, I don't have the gold me suit leveled up, so I'm actually using the yellow me racing suit that shares a track with gold me suit in week 2 ranked. So
nice, man. Yeah, I think that in general, when we have like me cups and me boosts, I mean, you can use whatever me is the highest for you. So in these situations, maybe it's the yellow meat, and maybe instead of if you don't have the gold, maybe he's been your MVP. I know Jeeves has specifically said that the yellow meat's been saving him. It really depends on an account by account basis. I'd love to take it. I love Giant Banana. It's been I took it to 7 here a couple tours ago for I think it was the dry desert, man, it was really fun to use. I mean, I love Giant Banana. It's tough to not get as many actions as Boomerang or Coinbox. So I think for week 2 here, obviously I'm going to be using Gold Me. No offense, Antilev. Hopefully you don't hold that against me.
None taken.
Let's talk about the drivers with 2 buffs. That's about it. That's all I want to talk about. Drivers with 1 buff, obviously Gold Me Racing Suit got the Bowser's Castle 3 RT, a huge win for him. Very efficient. Again, he is going to see a buffing cycle unlike any other driver. Very efficient. Got the track that you want, and moving on. And who knows? Maybe it's 3 or 4 more tours like this. We also have Gold Charging Chuck got the Bowser's Castle 1 RT. Huge win for him.
That was a nice one. Yeah.
He's crushing it right now, and I think. Yeah, I mean, with a giant hitbox.
That's also, I think, I have to double check it. No, it's not an exclusive. I thought it was an exclusive. I think maybe Larry has that one as well. But I mean, it might as well be an exclusive because he's a big hitbox. Yeah.
No, he's got a big hitbox, but there are plenty of Mii's on that track, and I think Larry's on that. The Larry Mii suit's on that, and that's what.
Oh, is that so?
Maybe it's the Cat Mii suit. I'm definitely not using him, so I have him at level 1 because I went all in on PD Gold, and that was a mistake. I can now retrospectively, in hindsight, say that was a mistake, but. Gold Charging Chuck is absolutely crushing it.
It's interesting because Gold PD was a ranked reward driver, wasn't he? And people worked really, really hard to get him. I remember.
I mean, it was a must-win situation for us. So, yeah, that certainly was tough looking back. Again, for me, it's kind of like the gold hard hat. It's like Nintendo, you like made this as clear as day that I should invest in this, and then I invested in it, and I'm like, geez. What do you do, man? You can't win, not with Nintendo. You got question mark block suit with the SNES Bowser's Castle 3R. He's crushing it now with 28 assumed tracks, 8 cities, so well over 25 or 35 tracks for him. That's awesome for a Mii suit. Got the PD Piranha Mii suit. Although it gets the Bowser's Castle 3T, which is a new track, it's not in ranked. Same with the question mark block. But again, these guys are seeing buffs, and for a Mii suit, that's always a good thing.
Those are all super good buffs.
What's that?
Those are all super good buffs. The Gold Me Racing Suit is the single most valuable buff of this tour.
There you go. Yeah, did you want to add anything about these drivers with 2 buffs? I'm looking here and I'm like, these are all like not worth talking about. I do see Luigi Chef.
I basically mentioned it with I basically mentioned it with you know, the drivers that got 2 new rank buffs, or well, nobody got 3 rank buffs. So
I will say I did see a couple people throw in some tickets on Spike Me on that Bowser's Castle 4 in ranked last week. Anything sneaky about him?
It's good coverage. I mean, it's you know, it's an interesting one. It's a very strong start.
I think it's kind of like one of those things where it's like all things equal, because we had a lot of Mii's to choose from. It's like you just want to go with the one that's newest, you know. And so maybe people saw like the Bowser's shell, even though like it looks like a great skill, its coverage is a little older, and so maybe they want to ride out Spike while he's getting some of these key buffs. So that's really my expectation. Again, this is more of a behavior decision than a Nintendo decision. And so for those, there's some great resources out there, such as Frenzy Fran's most valuable item. And they kind of gauge what people are investing in as compared to what we look at, which is more focused in on what's Nintendo buffing, what's Nintendo doing, not what the people are doing. So from that respect,
the most efficient use of your tickets right now, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think a lot of people might be investing in Spike, or maybe they're just using him at level 2 and just kind of throwing one ticket just because it would have helped them get them over the edge. As for the drivers with 1 buff, just to kind of finish it off, we got Meowser. Obviously, it's kind of Meowser tour. Got the Bowser's Castle 3. A lot of people were using him in ranked. Even people who had Larry Mii suit at pretty high level were still using Meowser because it just was such a great coin box track. I mean, really, there's nothing more. Like, you want a lot of straight, you know, forward ways to go, and it was kind of tough, at least for me, to get the right lobby with Bowser's Castle 3 and using Larry Mii. So Meowser was crushing it.
I think Comtrue's got like 326 actions or something with Meowser on that one.
That's crazy.
It's a great coin box track.
Is phenomenal, so no surprise there. But that over 300. I mean, I saw Carlos get his 220 action. I think the first item box he got like I don't know, like it was like a banana green shell, and the second one he got like a single box, and the next one he got like a green shell only. So like a terrible start, but you know, it was consistent. He was getting single
you don't
boxes.
need a good sequence, yeah.
He did not even a great sequence. He got over 220. So I mean, again, Carlos is one of the best skilled drivers in the game. So kudos to Carlos, kudos to Com, and what a fun track, guys. I mean, I feel like I should go back and just like enjoy the track a little bit more. That's not like when I'm not boomboxing, because that was a little excruciating, but I do really enjoy the track. I'm excited to have it coming back. I mean, that's the hard part about coming out of a Nitro tour, a city tour. It's like I'm excited to have some of these tracks come back, and unfortunately for Athens and for you know, the Yoshi Island, and even the Yoshi Desert, not coming back anytime soon, at least from what we can tell. And Pete Piranha does get the Bowser's Castle 3. You gotta like that. Goomba Mii got that same track as well. And then kind of looking down at it, the Bowser Mii suit, you just got that one track. I don't know about you, I ended up using it on that track. I ended up taking him all the way up to 5 and just single cap. And
level 4 for me.
Man, it just made a lot of sense. You know, and hopefully when...
the Bowser Mii suit, and I wanted to bring this up earlier, both the Bowser Mii suit and the Dry Bowser Mii suit, they're both on sale in the Mii shop. And they're both pretty useful drivers. They have like pretty sneaky good coverage. And the Bowser shell is not top 4 skill, but it's actually pretty okay to grind with. You can hang back in 7th and get Mushroom Frenzies or Bowser Shell Frenzies. And for 70 rubies, they're both good pickups right now if you have any spare rubies. I know rubies are kind of
the hard part is those rubies, man. We're all depleted. And we got Cat Luigi, got a nice little Bowser's Castle 3 RT. He's been sneaky with the coverage. But again, it's just really hard to put tickets on them. And then the Cat Mii Racing Suit, Bowser's Castle 1 RT. If you don't have those coin boxes on there. Let's get to Karts. So Karts, there are only 2 Karts that got 5 buffs. And as you can see, they're taking up a big part of the screen. You got the Tycho Drum Dasher, did get the Bowser's Castle 3. And Gold Painter did get the GBA Bowser's Castle 1 RT. And that's just about it. I mean, neither one of them got any other 2023 track. So kind of tough to get excited about either one of those. But Painter's does have the nice hitbox. So if you don't mind going in on a gold item, Gold Painter might do you pretty well on some of those tracks. But again, we've got Calamari Desert and some other stuff too. You may not get excited about that. Really, when it comes to the Karts with 4 buffs, I mean, I was keeping my eye on the Jumbo Jetter. Didn't necessarily get the right buffs that I wanted. It did get the Bowser's Castle 1 RT that's in ranked, and the SNES Bowser's Castle 3T, but that one is not in ranked. Everything else, I mean, I'm not really excited about any of these. And I don't think based on the buffing, you should either. For karts though with 3 buffs, obviously the Blazing Eagle is just like breaking every part of this game. I quad capped it myself, and I ran it through the coverage optimizer through a turtle dude, and it made sense for my account. That with the flowery bag wagon and the ones I already had quad capped would cover me, I think, like 93 of the 147 or so rotating tracks, something to that extent. So Blazing Eagle already hitting meta level craziness there, so could be a lasting account pairing for you. Actually, I think the 147 I was looking at was just since the Bowser Tour last year. So that's kind of how I like to siphon things off new tracks versus, and that's kind of where I draw that line. Got Streetle in there, did get the Bowser's Castle 4, it looks like. Blue Crawley, a womp womp for the Blue Crawley guys. I don't know, it's really hard to get excited for this Blue Crawley. I know a lot of people invested in it so early and through destiny wanted to make sure that it did well. Unfortunately, guys, I don't see this as a big win for the Blue Crawley this tour. Gold Lunar Cruiser did get the Bowser's Castle 1RT. A surprising top 15 showing from a gold cart there with the gold Lunar Cruiser. Decent hitbox there for what it's worth. Rainbow Streetle, nothing. You got Holiday Speeder did get the Bowser's Castle 3RT. That's probably where I'll draw the line. Antilev, anything you want to say about these first 2 pages of carts with most buffs between 5 and 4 and 3?
Yeah, no, so like I was saying before, the number of items in this tour that actually got multiple quality buffs is like relatively low compared to the total number of buffs. So Blazing Eagle is the only single item in the game that got buffed on 3 new tracks. That is absolutely crazy quality-wise. It was already the number 1 card, and it just got like massively buffed. So what can you say? Invest it now if you have it. It's really, at its peak. Is it going to fall off in the future? I don't know. The model doesn't seem to think so. As long as it keeps getting buffs like this, it definitely won't with that huge hitbox. Other cards that did well in terms of giving 2 new ranked tracks, Black Carriage, Blooper Shuttle, Bright Girl from the Yoshi Tour, Gold Lunar Cruiser, Green Cat Cruiser, Hot Pot, Hot Rod, Jumbo Jetter, Pink Sneaker, Pink Speeder, Red Crawley Cart, Streetle, and Swift Talon. So a few more, but not the most meta set of items. Maybe the Blooper Shuttle is kind of up there with an interesting one. And there's a few newer carts, like Red Crawley's been getting buffed like crazy. Like it's really weird because it's such an old cart. So in general, that's kind of what I see as the most interesting items that got buffed this tour.
And what's great about this Blazing Eagle getting all 3 of these brand new Bowser's Castle is that these are ones that are going to probably come back. They may not be in ranked this tour, but it's probably high likelihood that it'll be in ranked at some point in time over the next 2 or 3 tours. I feel good about it, man. I get really excited when Nintendo likes an item, and we're all taking notice. It hit your number 1 like 2 or 3 tours ago. So
yeah,
it's one of those things where, man, like when the algorithm shows it's hot, it's flaming hot, blazing hot, you could say.
Let's run the model.
Exactly. Carts with 2 buffs at the top of the list. You obviously have the Blooper Shuttle getting the Bowser's Castle 3RT, Pink Speeder, which also showed up in my good pairings. It's really doing well right now, number 11 on the list. We sensed this a while back, and kind of just being a really good pairing with a lot of items. Number 11 on our list, 24 assumed tracks, 13 cities. Purple Dozer's been outside the top 10 for a while, but it's kind of been hovering in this 11 to 15 range. Unfortunately, this tour it doesn't come up with anything too great, but it gets 222 tracks, which is fair. Bowser's Castle RT you probably might be covered on. Swift Talon did get the Bowser's Castle 1RT, number 16 on our list. Nothing really from the Rainbow Taxi. Tropical Truck, you would have liked a little bit something more. Did get the Bowser's Castle 4R for what it's worth. That's probably where I'll draw the line. And then for the carts with 1 buff, we'll just kind of talk about some of these top ones, and then we'll move forward. But there's a lot to talk about, at least for maybe the top 6 here. Red Off-Roader, again, kind of alluding to what we've been talking about with the Blazing Eagle. It's been not too far behind. It's number 3, got the Bowser's Castle 3. Nice hitbox with a coin box driver. You love that. 26 assumed tracks, 13 cities. It's finally coming on strong. It was a while there where we weren't sure where it was, if it was going to heat up or fall off. It's taken the former. We've got Camo Tanuki Kart getting the Bowser's Castle 3T, not in ranked. Moo Off-Roader, unfortunately, kind of doing the opposite that the Red Off-Roader was doing. It seemed like the Moo was off to the hot start. Red Off-Roader was not, and now they flipped for what it's worth. But Moo's still pretty strong. Obviously got that giant hitbox. Had a really good Nitro Tour and City Tour, and then kind of falls off on a tour that when we want it to do well. But here we go. I mean, it's got a track that's fine. I mean, Bowser's Castle 2OT. You just would have liked a little bit more from it. But it doesn't necessarily fit the theme either, for what it's worth. Like, Red Off-Roader fits the Bowser's Castle theme, just color-wise, more than the Moo Off-Roader. So don't get your hopes down too far. Then Shield Speedster got the Bowser's Castle 3T, which was fair. And then Armored Rider, guys, this I've been even playing around with taking this cart all the way up after being around for what, like 13, 14 months. So it is absolutely insane right now. Bowser, I mean, the fact that we're talking about a cart that came out 14 months ago and being number 8 on our list says everything you need to know. Flowery Badwagon, Bowser's Castle 3, really phenomenal cart. I haven't seen a lot of other people take it up. I personally have taken it to 8 triple uncap, and I love it, man. It's so good for my account. Doesn't make sense for everyone's account.
Optimizer really likes it because it really fills in a lot of cracks in coverage, what I found. And I had the same with mine, but I didn't end up investing in it, but it was always popping up as one of the best ones for me to invest in.
Yeah, you know, I started really being like a super user of the optimizer probably about 6 months ago, and it showed up, and I was like, that's a weird card. I'm not going to invest in that. And then it just kept showing up, and just like every time I would pull it in there, I'd be like, all right, fine, I'm gonna have to finally invest in this thing, and you know, it's worked out really well. So don't be afraid of if it works well for your account and no one else is investing in it, it's okay. Just know that it's working really well for your account, and it's actually probably cooler that way. It's one of my more proud investments because it's one of those things where, you know, unless you are a super user of the sheets or an optimizer or something, it's not going to show up on, you know, your favorite like looking list unless you're in Toreko 655. There you go. Anything else you want to say about the carts? That's I think we're going to skip this last page.
No, I think that's it. Like, yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think there's really anything on the last page we need to talk about. It was nice seeing Silver King come back with a buff, which is not necessarily a new track, but in ranked. It's just an old favorite of mine. Same with Purple Bunny. I remember we were part of the Purple Bunny crew way back when. Other than that, yeah, not really a whole lot to talk about. There's a lot of buffs, so you could spend an hour on doing this. But
all right, we'll move to gliders with 5 buffs. 8-Bit Goomba gets the quantity award with 5 buffs. Quality, I don't know. I'm still a little hesitant, man. Number 33 on our list. I mean, I think some people saw its buff and it's like, man, crushing it. But here's the thing: is like 8-Bit Goomba is going to get Bowser's Castles, especially for when it came out. Like, it just makes too much sense to have a Goomba in Bowser's Castle. I mean, how many of us were playing the Super Nintendo and in Bowser's Castle? And I mean, if I got $1 for every Goomba I jumped on, I mean, I'd be probably hitting $1 million. But yeah, Goomba and 8-Bit Goomba fits this theme so well. So kudos to Nintendo for hitting on that. But I mean, again, you know, you got 2 tracks from this tour. You could have gotten a little bit more. I don't know. I'm still a wait and see with all the new 8-bit items, including the 8-bit question block as well. Golden Glider got the Bowser's Castle 1RT. And the rest of it, not so great. Again, even that track is an old track, but it's in ranked. The newer track that it got was the Bowser's Castle 3T, which is not in ranked. So, I still think the Golden Glider, unfortunately, you know, you see it's got 10 cities, 5 assumed tracks, and these 5 tracks, only one is going to be probably helping you out going forward. I think something would have to drastically change in the next couple tours before we just leave it for dead. As for the gliders with 4 buffs, there are 6. Nabbit Parachute, nothing in ranked. 8-Bit Block Glider did get the Bowser's Castle 1RT. And so from that perspective, if you're in like the who's winning between the 8-Bit Block Glider and the 8-Bit Goomba, they've been kind of neck and neck for a little bit. It does look like the Goomba has taken a little bit of a head start, but not much at all. I mean, we're talking about 33, 53. These aren't breaking the meta by any means. You got the 8-Bit Super Glider. Got the Bowser's Castle 4, 8-Bit Gold Glider, got the Bowser's Castle 3RT. Gold Boomasks got the Bowser's Castle 1RT, and then the Gold Tulip didn't get squat. Anything you want to say about these, Antelope?
You know, it was like, so you were complaining about the 8-bit Goomba only getting 2 new tracks. No glider got more than 2 new tracks this tour, so that is sort of the best you could hope for. I mean, 5 tracks in a retro tour is good because they're all have some value. I'll go through the list of all the gliders that got 2 new buffs this tour, but I'll let you go through the gliders with 3 and 2 buffs because I think most of them were actually on that slide.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Well, the Wonderful Garnet, a lot of people really like this one's been doing really well for a lot of accounts. Bowser's Castle 3RT. Wonderful Diamond got the Bowser's Castle 3. A lot of people love that. That's number 3 and number 6, respectively, on our list. And then Gold Heart Hat finally coming on a little bit, but you'll have to tell us why, Antilev, because it's not in ranked and just got the SNES Bowser's Castle 3T. Calico Toe Beam Balloons is one that I took the 7 double uncapped for ranked last week. It fit a lot of gaps. When I was putting it into the Antilev tracker, it shows me on my my own list of top items. At level 6, it was higher than a couple level 7 gliders. It was the highest level 6. Actually, I think at level 5, it was higher than some level 7 gliders on that list because of how many gaps it filled. So it was an easy decision for me. Absolutely love this glider, but it obviously got that Bowser's Castle 3. Number 14 on our list, 10 cities, 26 assumed tracks. Rainbow Fair Flyer got the Bowser's Castle 3. Festive Holly, nothing noticeable, and really that's to be said for the rest of them. I think a lot of people went really heavy into the Smiley Flower glider, and this is not a great tour for it. It did not get rewarded with that early investment. And the gliders with 2 buffs, there's just a couple to note. Yellow Hard Hat obviously being the most notable with the Bowser's Castle 3RT. Black Star Shoot got the Bowser's Castle 4. Number 1 for the Yellow Hard Hat and number 8 on our top 10 list for the Black Star Shoot. Green Cap Parafoil, again, these green shell gliders always have a high quantity. 32 assumed tracks, 10 cities. It's just been really good. And again, it's got really good coverage and might work well for your account. Fire Manta Glider, it's been coming on as of late. It's just been like really consistent over the last year that it's been out, and it has Bowser's Castle 3RT, which is in ranked. The Fuzzy Kite, a lot of people have been keeping eyes on that. I know Antilev, you invested in it very early. Bowser's Castle 3 here, it's in ranked. Number 12 on our list, which I think that's probably where we'll draw the line and get your feedback, Antilev. What's your thoughts on gliders with 3 and 2 buffs?
Yeah, so you see, especially in the list of like the 2 buffs, there's a lot of like pretty meta gliders there that they're getting like good quality buffs. The Fire Manta glider, I have also invested on both accounts, and it's been, it hasn't been spectacular. It's just kind of been steady. It's been useful. It's kind of similar to the Daisy, the flowery bandwagon of gliders, where it just kind of fits on tracks where you don't otherwise have necessarily good coverage. You know, just like the drivers and karts, we didn't have a lot of gliders that got like, you know, fantastic buffing. I would say the only gliders that got 2 buffs with 2 new track buffs. Actually, all of the new 8-bit items, 8-bit, not all the 8-bit new items, 3 of them, 8-bit Block, 8-bit Goomba, 8-bit Super Glider, and then the 8-bit Super Mushroom, which is one of the older 8-bit gliders, but still a great one. Autumn Leaves, Black Star Shoot, Fire Manta Glider, Gold Cloud Balloons. Black Star Shoot is still doing really well. Green Cat Parafoil, Luigi Parafoil, and Luigi's Mustache. Those all got 2 buffs on new tracks. So those are the best high quality buffs. To answer your question, why the Gold Hard Hat went up, it is not really that it got spectacular buffs compared to the gliders around it. It's just some gliders that were above it didn't really get any buffs or only got like 1 buff, and it got 3 buffs. So it you know, value wise, it didn't even really go up that much. It's just in the ranking, it's just kind of a quirk of how tightly clustered that area of the rankings are. Yeah, other than that, no, I don't think I have a whole lot to add on this slide.
Okay, cool. All right, and then gliders with 1 buff, obviously the 8-bit 1-up mushroom, guys, absolutely insane. It is number 2 on our list just because the yellow's been just so hot right now, but the 8-bit 1-up mushroom still a safe investment if you haven't invested in it already.
You have to realize it's getting close to a year old, you know, so for such an old glider to be still number 2 is incredible, because we really give the newer items pretty significant boost just for being new.
Oh, absolutely solid point there. Lava Rocks did get a nice buff here with Bowser's Castle 3. Plant Balloons got the that same track, so both of those certainly an option you probably ran into last week. And then Mario's Hat Balloon got the Bowser's Castle 4. Tulip Corsage got Bowser's Castle 4 as well. And that's probably where I'm drawing the line. I mean, there's plenty of other good ones that got some good buffs, very efficient buffs. But I think when you're talking about the meta, it's all about the 8-bit 1-up mushroom with lava rocks and piranha plant balloons not too far behind. Antilev, anything you want to add?
No, not really. I think we covered it.
Okay, cool. Again, I know we're in week 2, so we're getting a little hyped up about things you probably already made a decision on. But let's get into the top 10. We got the yellow Mii Racing suit at number 10, up 7 spots, which is a huge jump for any driver, especially for a Mii suit. They don't seem to be moving that quickly. But 16 assumed tracks, 14 nitro. 61 tracks up to C. Got some good pairings covering 97 of the 291 tracks. So let's talk about, anytime that we're talking about these slides for the first time, we might have newer viewers, which we always appreciate. We always love the newer viewers. If you have questions about anything like this, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to let us know in Discord. Just let us know in the chat if you're here in the premiere. But ultimately, we do want to help out newer players. So if you're new, we want to help you out. Don't feel afraid to reach out. We honestly, everyone is very, very supportive in the community. There's very few people who don't want to help you out. So feel free to reach out to literally anybody. In worst case scenario, they'll lead you to my channel, and we'll be happy to help you out. But assumed tracks are tracks that are reoccurring. These are tracks that could come back in future tours versus nitro tracks or city tracks, which only come back every so often or not at all throughout the year. But like last year, of the assumed tracks, literally every assumed track came back last year. So these are really important for you to keep track of, and that's why we separate the two. And then 61 tracks left to see. So once it gets exposed to a track, it either gets it or it doesn't for like forever. So if it has 61 tracks left to see, that might help you in some of your decision making. And then on the right, we show you all the tracks that this driver has in its inventory, along with the other top skill drivers that it has on this track. So you love, like a good example would be this Riverside Park RT. It just has Daisy Tide Dress as a top skill driver on that track. The Ghost Valley 2 RT just has PD Piranha Gold at looks like a level 6 unlock. So right off the bat, if you didn't invest in PD Gold, which probably you end up being happy about, Yellow Mii is going to help you out. What I like about him is that there's a lot of these tracks only have 3 or less top skill drivers on. So that's probably why so many people are really enjoying the yellow Mii suit. But I got some overlap with the gold Mii suit and some other gold coin box items. So if you're looking for action count, sometimes the coin box is going to be more than the giant banana unless you're at a 200 or action count track or more. Because the banana actions are worth more for a coin. So if you can get 200 actions with a banana, that's going to be the better choice between the two. Then when we talk about top skill pairing, this is powered by a Turtle Dudes coverage optimizer, which by the way, I do want to reiterate. What you see on the overlap on the right, this is thanks to Larry98's MKT data sheet, which we have the link to in the description of the video. And Larry's done a phenomenal job just keeping it simple. He's got a brand new domain, so definitely check that out. But a Turtle Dudes coverage optimizer, it's phenomenal. Python generated, but essentially you can plug in your items. So in this case, we're plugging in Yellow Mii suit, and we say we want 3 other drivers and see how many tracks we can cover as possible. And there are 2 different pairings. There's a top layer, or a top grouping and a lower grouping. Both of these groupings together alongside the Yellow Mii Racing suit cover 97 of the 291 total assumed tracks that come back every so often. So each one of these pairings will add 81 tracks to Yellow Mii Racing suit's total track. So these are great pairings if you want to invest. If you want to invest in Yellow Mii, these are some good ones to have with him. Or if you've already invested in, say, Yoshi Gold Egg and Meowser and PD Piranha, maybe the Yellow Mii suit is a great one for you to invest in. And then at the very bottom, last but not least, it's probably my favorite to look at, is the top skill overlap. So this means if you've already really invested into some of these drivers on the bottom, you may not want to invest in Yellow Mii. Now, here's the thing. When you're talking about 3 tracks and 2 tracks overlapping with him, that's really low, especially when you're talking about a total of 30 tracks. So for the Yellow Mii suit, I wouldn't be concerned about 3 overlaps with Toad, Astronaut, and Daisy Tide Dress, but there's other ones where you might want to be concerned about. So there we go. Now that we fully broke this down, hopefully we won't spend that much time on the rest of them, but we have Larry Wintertime, 27 assumed tracks, 13 nitro, 78 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 104 of the 291 tracks, so we're talking about literally over a third of the tracks covered by this pairing. Does overlap 6 times with Rosa Chef, 4 times with Question Mark Block and Daisy Tide Dress, and 5 times with Gold PD Piranha. So again, when you're talking about hitbox size for Larry Wintertime, which is a little smaller, you might be concerned about these 4 tracks and 5 tracks, but Larry Wintertime's still doing pretty strong. He's pretty reliable at this point. White Tanuki Mario up 4 spots to number 8. 30 assumed tracks, 16 nitro, 4 tracks left to see. So seeing just about everything, but yeah, I think when you're talking about 46 tracks for White Tanuki Mario, you gotta really like that. One pairing with Mario Samurai, Gold Charging Chuck, and Daisy Tide Dress. You're talking about 111 of the 291 tracks. You gotta love that. What you have to be alarmed by is the Gold Mii suit does overlap 7 times, and also Volendam. So those are 2 really strong drivers. Obviously, Gold Mii suit, the best driver, one of the best drivers in the game, absolutely crushing it. And you're always going to want to use him if you have him. So that part's kind of tough for him. There's some other overlaps as well. Obviously, a lot of coin box, as you can see. At 7, you got PD Piranha Gold down 1 spot, 25 assumed tracks, 11 nitro, still 19 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 106 of the 291 tracks and does overlap 6 times with Pink Shy Guy and Gold Yoshi Gold something. Meowser has fallen a little bit from his number 1 dominance last year, but up 2 spots thanks to the Bowser Tour. 31 tracks left to see, 4 nitro, very low nitro. He's already seen all the tracks in the game. Thanks to this tour, you got Pink Shy Guy, Daisy Tide Dress, and White Tanuki Mario coming 109 of the 291 tracks. Those overlap 7 times with Mario Samurai and Shy Guy Ninja. At number 5, PD Piranha Mii suit, 22 assumed tracks, 10 nitro, 8 tracks left to see. Some pairings cover 104 of the 291 tracks. PD Piranha overlaps 7 times. That is kind of alarming, so you might just want to invest in PD Mii or PD. But I think either one, I'm going to go with, I would highly recommend people going with PD Mii. It just seems to be a little stronger right now, especially with those base points. Daisy Tide Dress, down 1 spot to number 4, 33 assumed tracks, 16 nitro. Very narrow overlap, as you can see on the right there. Her pairings with Gold Charging Chuck, Mario Samurai, and White Tanuki Mario cover 111 of the 291 tracks. The downside, though, 7 overlaps with the Gold Mii suit, and also with Yoshi Kangaroo. Number 3, the Question Mark Block, up 1 spot to number 3, 28 assumed tracks, 8 nitro, 3 tracks left to see. Some good pairings covering, 1 pairing covering 108 of the 291 tracks. Does overlap with Mario Saddle of You 6 times, so that's really good for him. And then Gold Charging Chuck, number 2 on our list, 30 assumed tracks, 16 nitro, still really crushing it, guys. It may not even be too late to invest in him. I always delayed because of the Mii's, but he's been really strong. This pairing covering 111 of the 291 tracks. Those overlap 6 times with regular Charging Chuck and Yoshi Gold Egg Gold something. And then we have, with no surprise, Gold Mii Racing Suit, 30 assumed tracks, 16 nitro, seen every track in the game. This pairing covers 106 of the 291 tracks. It's interesting to see him even paired with Gold Charging Chuck. But his overlap, obviously Gold Yoshi Gold something gets the brunt of that. Overlaps 7 times, which is a lot for something that's the same size hitbox. So no advantage really to using Gold Yoshi over that. So that's our top 10. At 11, we have Gold Yoshi Gold something, Toad Astronaut at 12, PD at 13, Hammer Bro Mii Racing Suit at 14, Light Blue Shy Guy at 15 there. Ansel, what's your thoughts on the top 10?
Yeah, so this is Gold Mii Racing Suit putting even more distance between itself and the rest. I think if Gold Mii Racing Suit didn't exist, we'd be talking about Charging Chuck in kind of in the same way we talked about Meowser 1 year ago, which is kind of unfortunate. He's being overshadowed by the Mii's. I did forget to mention we did make some small changes to the model of this tour. We got 4 new Mii suits, so the Mii bonus got raised from 15% to 70%. We will keep raising that as they keep adding more Mii suits, and they're not instituting a cap on the base mode bonus, because they're just going to get more valuable. So you'll see Mii suits going up more and more in the future. and also the number of assumed buffs we have for new items. We raised that slightly from, I think, 9.5 to 10. What that means is the model takes into account the number of tracks that an item has not seen, could still get buffed on, and makes an assumption. So I think there's 308 retro tracks in the game right now. It's assumed that any given item will get 10 additional buffs out of those 308. So the less tracks it has left to see, the less assumed future buffs it has in the model. But as the number of tracks in the game goes up, that number of assumed future buffs will also go up. Other than that, yeah, no really surprises, I would say, in the top 10. Everything that got like really good buffs, you look at the ones that jumped out, they all got like ranked buffs, Question Block got a new track, not ranked, only up one spot. White Tanuki Mario got 2 great buffs. Yellow Me Racing Suits on that tough week 2 ranked track. Meowser getting the week 1 ranked buff. Gold Charging Chuck. So I would say no surprises. I would say it's kind of expected.
What's interesting compared to past tours is we have this Gold Me Racing Suit. Everyone's percentage in their ranking is compared to the Gold Me Racing Suit. Yeah. And he's got a 10-point lead on number 2 with Gold Charging Chuck. And then from there, we got a 9-point lead compared to Question Mark Block. So it's just a huge dominant show from the Gold Me Racing Suit. And honestly, that is you're going to see in drivers more than any other item in the game, more than karts and more than gliders, just because of how dominant the Miis are in this game. There is the Mii boost thanks to the cups and being able to move up. And honestly, I could see that getting even bigger lead as tours go on. This Gold Me Racing Suit, I'm hoping everyone gets him. I know Issa was so close to getting him this past week. I hope you guys get the Gold Me Racing Suit because he's well worth investing in all the way up as soon as you get him. Let's talk about karts, though. We got Blue Crawly Kart. It is in our top 10. It held out our top 10, I think, because so many karts fell off. Because honestly, the buffs were not great for the Blue Crawly Kart. It just has such a good hitbox, catapulted it into our top 10, and then it's just been holding out. We'll see what happens next tour. 20 assumed tracks, 7 nitro. Still a lot of tracks still to see. That's the part you have to be hopeful about when it comes to those who invested early, because it still has 82 tracks left to see. Some of these pairings include the Yellow Off-Roader and surprisingly, the Gold Bruiser. Both of these 2 pairings cover 98 of the 291 tracks. It does overlap 5 times with this meta level Shielded Speedster and 4 times with the Armored Rider. Both of those karts are really strong in the game. But 5 and 4, when you're talking about 27, I don't know. It's nothing necessarily that I would necessarily defer. But man, those are 2 great karts. You can't. Those are literally the best 2 karts. Compared to, if you look at the Flowery Badwagon, I'll just jump right to it. That kart overlap, you're not worried about any of these. The White Bruiser had a good streak there. But, the rest of these, you're not too worried about. So, Flowery Badwagon, this is why we're all hyped up on it, because it covers just so many great gaps. 27 tracks, 27 assumed tracks, 12 nitro, 4 tracks left to see. These pairings cover 105 of the 291 tracks. First time I think we've seen the Rainbow Taxi in one of these pairings, so we'll see what happens going forward. We have the Armored Rider up 1 spot to number 8. Again, it's been over 14 months old, so gotta love that. Again, I seriously, every time I see, I'm like, I want to go back in time and just invest in it when it first came out. I wish I did. That would have been so much easier. 28 assumed tracks, 9 nitro, 0 tracks left to see. A good pairing with the Gold Bruiser, the Streetle, and the Yellow Off-Roader cover 107 of the 291 tracks. But you're not too worried about these overlaps, guys. And I think that's why the Armored Rider has been so baller over the last 14 months or so. Streetle up 5 spots, back into our top 10, number 7. 28 assumed tracks, 12 nitro, 19 tracks left to see. These pairings cover 107 of the 291 tracks. Here's what you kind of have to be afraid of, guys. There's some karts that are starting to hit our meta when it comes to the Camo Tanuki Kart, the Moo Off-Roader, and the Crawly Kart, Blue Crawly Karts. All really a lot of overlap. Again, we're talking about 40 tracks total, so maybe 5 isn't a lot. But these are some karts that are substantially larger. You would definitely want to use these, all things equal. Shield Speedster holding down number 6. It's come out. Geez, what now? I feel like probably 8, 9, maybe 10 months ago. Still number 6 on our list. 28 7 assumed tracks, 11 nitro. I'm still using it. here this tour. It's kind of nice that it's been lingering for so long. Obviously, it hit our algorithm really hard last year and been riding it out pretty well. These pairings cover 104 of the 291 tracks, and it does overlap 6 times with the red off-roader and the Piranha Pipe, and then the 5 times with the green Cat Cruiser and the blue Crawley Kart. Number 5, the Moo Moo Off-Roader fell down 1 spot to number 5, 29 assumed tracks, 9 nitro, still 31 tracks left to see, which is nice. These pairings cover 103 of the 291 tracks. All the overlap, though, you're not worried about it. And I think that's why the Moo Moo Off-Roader is attractive, because there's not a lot of overlap. And even if you think about, there's nothing with more than 4 overlap of the insane 38 tracks. So you gotta love that. And it's gonna always be better when it comes to the hitbox than most of what you're working with. Camo Tanuki Kart down 1 spot to number 4. 27 assumed tracks, 11 nitro, 11 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 105 of the 291 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with the Gold Bullet Blaster and Streetle, and 6 times with the Cactar, and 5 times with the Pink Speeder. The Pink Speeder is really the only one you have to worry about, and that's not even really that high of a number. We got the Red Off-Roader, 26 assumed tracks, 13 nitro, up 2 spots to number 3 on our list, 4 tracks left to see. It's just seen a bit about everything, which is crazy to think about, but it does overlap. Just have a good pairing, 100 of the 291 tracks, a little lower than some of the ones we just talked about. But it does overlap 7 times with the Lightning McQueen, 6 times with the Shield Speedster and the Pink Speeder, and 5 times with the Gold Bullet Blaster. So, yeah, those are a little alarming, but Red Off-Roader is bigger in hitbox than all of those. So, not extremely worried. Blooper Shuttle holding down number 2 spot, 26 assumed tracks, 9 nitro, 54 tracks left to see, which is really good. This pairing covers 105 of the 291 tracks. There's overlap 6 times with the Rainbow Taxi and 5 times with the Lunar Cruiser. And last but not least, guys, the Blazing Eagle, 23 assumed tracks, 20 nitro. So many nitro, but it doesn't matter. 31 tracks left to see, which is still a lot. Again, it came out in that city tour, and everything that came out before that still has yet to see. This pairing covers 102 of the 291 tracks. Does overlap, though, 5 times with the Red Off-Roader and the Blooper Shuttle, 4 times with the Gold Bullet Blaster and the Camo Tanuki Kart. So there's our top 10 to round it off. Pink Speeder at 11, Purple Dozer at 12, Yellow Off-Roader at 13, Lunar Cruiser, the Gold version at 14, and the Rainbow Streetle at 15. Antilev, what do you think about these carts?
Yeah, this is kind of a similar case with the gold knee suit. The Blazing Eagle is just putting distance, We got the best buffs of basically any cart this game. It was already number 1. Yeah, it's a nice mix. We got some items which are hanging around. I think the big surprise is the Streetle, but it did get 2 really good buffs. So that one's kind of hanging around. I like to see the Armor Rider sticking there as well. But, I don't think there's really any crazy stories in the top 10. The Shielded Speedster, which you mentioned, like if you follow the rundown, and it was kind of controversial when we made it the number 1 cart in the game after I think its 2nd tour or 3rd tour. It just got out to such a hot start. But if you took the opportunity to invest in it then, it's been paying off huge dividends for you, because it has been so consistently in ranked. It's got the really nice big hitchbox. It's even Jump Boost Plus, which I know a lot of people like. And I think the next one we had like that is the Blooper Shuttle. It didn't quite have the same hitbox, but it's been, again, since we had it to number 1 or close to the top, it's been consistently a ranked performer. So I think the algorithm is doing its job, and I would say no real surprises here.
Great job, man. We just replaced ChatGPT with the Antilev, and I think the world would be a better place. Let's talk about gliders. We got Fire Manta up 5 spots into our top 10. 28 assumed tracks, 14 nitro, 4 tracks left to see. These pairings cover 107 of the 291 tracks. Overlaps a whopping 8 times with, I think that's the Secret Scroll, right? That's the newer one. 6 times with the Gold Hard Hat and the Silver Luigi Mustache. 5 times with these 2 8-bit items, but still really strong. I mean, we're talking about a lot of tracks here, so I think the only one you might want to be worried about is the Secret Scroll. The rest, I mean, you may not have to worry too much about it. Green Cat Powerful has been in our top 10 for a long period of time, despite us kind of being burnt out on cat items, but it's been so strong, especially with the number of coverage. When you look at a total of 42 tracks, 3 tracks up to C. This pairing covers 111 of the 291 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with another green item. That's the green Luigi's hat. And then we have 6 times with the Boo Masks and Black Star Shoot. Those have been 2 meta items there. And then we got at number 8, we got the Black Star Shoot up 1 spot to 27. Start to 8, and then with 27 assumed tracks, 14 Nitro, 4 tracks up to C. This pairing covers 106 of the 291 tracks. Does overlap those 9 times with the Boo Mask, which is a lot. We talked about that when it first was released. You kind of want to invest in one or the other. 8 times with the 8-bit Bullet Blaster, 7 times with the Flyberry Book. At number 7, Sakura Origami Glider did fall down 4 spots. It was doing really well there, but it's got a crazy amount of tracks. I mean, we're talking about, what is that? I'm doing some quick math. 44 tracks total, which is just insane. This pairing covers 110 of the 291 tracks. Does overlap those 7 times with the Candlelight Flight and the Mario Hat Balloons, which I already had the Candlelight Flight at a high level, and the algorithm or the sheet still recommended me investing in the Sakura Origami Glider. So I was late to the game, and I still invested in it. It's really strong for a lot of accounts. Wonderful Diamond and one of the newer items, 23 assumed tracks, 7 Nitro. Still 82 tracks left to see, which is great. 160 to 291 tracks for the pairings. It doesn't even overlap with a lot of tracks. 6 times with the Flying Flappers, 5 times with some other gliders you probably don't have invested in. It's a pretty safe investment there if you want to go into it. Plant Balloons, 32 assumed tracks, 11 Nitro, 4 tracks up to C. These pairings cover 111 of the 291 tracks. But here's the thing, guys. Overlap 7 times with the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom, which I think if you have to pick between the two, I think you still have to go 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom. But still, Plant pretty good still, despite that. Lava Rocks, 29 assumed tracks, 12 Nitro, 4 tracks up to C. Does overlap 7 times with the Flyberry Book and the Boo Mask, 6 times with the Black Star Shoot. Wonderful Garnet, up 5 spots. A really good showing for the Wonderful Garnet. 25 assumed tracks, 16 Nitro, still 39 tracks up to C, which is really good for something that came out in January. We have some good pairings here. Those overlap 6 times with the 8-bit Super Mushroom and the pink magnifying glass. And then we have number 2, the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom. Although it fell 1 spot, a really strong glider. 29 assumed tracks, 14 Nitro. Good number there. This pairing covers 111 of the 291 tracks. It overlaps 8 times with the Mario Hat Balloon, which some people might have invested in, but not many. And then as we talked about that, Plant Balloons. Number 1, just because of how hot it is right now, this yellow hard hat balloon, 25 assumed tracks, 11 Nitro, still a whopping 53 tracks left to see, which is great. Gotta love this pairing with two mushrooms there, 107 out of 291 tracks. It overlaps with a bunch of stuff you probably didn't invest in unless you're Antilev, with the fuzzy kite at overlap 5 times, which again isn't too much. I mean, it's not a bad percentage, but I mean, I didn't see a lot of people invested in the Rainbow Fair Flyer or the Silver Candlelight Flight. So that is our top 10 for gliders. Rounding out the top 15, we've got the Gold Hard Hat at 11, Fuzzy Kite at 12, Boo Mask at 13, Calico Toby Bean Balloons at 14, and Record Setter at 15. Antilev, which thoughts on the top 10 gliders?
I think it's really interesting. We have, like, it's not interesting, but I mean, it makes sense that we have quite some items from the Bowser Tour from last year rising and being in the top 10. Fireman's Glider, Lava Rocks, Black Star Shoot, I think that all came out in the Bowser Tour last year. And the Wonderful Garnet maybe as well. I'd have to check on that one. There was quite some shakeup in the gliders. I don't think that was to do so much with the buffs, but just the fact that like everything is like really close together. You see here that Yellow Hard Hat had really good buffs, definitely better buffs than 8-bit What a Mushroom, but it isn't putting nearly the same kind of distance between itself and the number 2 as we have with the cars, and even more so with drivers. You know, if you look at the scores on the drivers, the number 10 driver has a score of 68. The number 10 cart has a score of 80. The number 10 glider has a score of 89. So they're all like really top kind of tight at the top there, and I think a big reason is because with gliders you don't have the skill, you don't have the knee bonus where drivers can really set themselves apart, and you also don't have like a hitbox or anything. There is really nothing to separate gliders except for coverage, and Nintendo's been kind of applying coverages and buffs a little bit more evenly, so there's not a lot of separation there. I would say, just so if people are wondering why the gliders are moving around a lot more, the there's less difference in the value of all the gliders compared to one another.
Yeah, really good point for this tour and for all tours, really. So, yeah, really good points there. For top movers and shakers, these are the items that move the most on the top, the algorithm. Specifically, Taurus did go up 58 spots. So we started at 181 because of his all-city start, and now we're at 123. So still a lot to climb. Hopefully he gets another 40, 53, 58 to move next tour, and still will be pretty far away from the top 10. But Prawn Plant Me Racing Suit did go up 38 spots to 76. Black Me Racing Suit went up 29 spots to 36. Cut that lead in half. Yeah, Pucci went up 18 spots to 73. Luigi Chef went up 15 spots to 37. And Cheap Cheap Me Suit, we kind of were already hyping that one up, but it went 14 spots to 19 on our list. Most improved carts, we hit the Gold Painter up 86 spots to number 153. And we have some other newer items that kind of came out in these city tours that definitely had a late start. So we saw huge jumps here. Rarely do we see 80 spots. But Jumbo Jetter, 76 spots to 155. Bronze Cucumber, 57 spots to 182. Bright Girl, 49 spots to 86. And Tycho Drum Dasher, 44 spots to 42. That's about all I'll mention. Then most improved gliders, Golden Glider up 50 spots to 143, which is still really far away. We got the 8-Bit Goomba up 33 spots to 33. You literally cut it in half. Gold 8-Bit Glider up 25 spots to 56. 8-Bit Block Glider up 24 spots to 53. And then Autumn Leaves up 22 spots to 22. And 8-Bit Super Glider up 18 spots to 54. Rainbow Fair Flyer to go up 12 spots to 17. So just outside of the top 15. Might be kind of sneaky. Maybe as a late riser. We'll see what happens. Antilev, anything you want to add to this?
No, not really. You see 5 me suits out of those top 10 drivers. That is a lot to do with the fact that the me suits all got bonus, the increased bonus. So it's not just coverage driven. Other than that, yeah, no, not really. Like the things we want to look at the most are when an item makes a big jump close to the top. If an item goes up 80 spots from 250 to 170, it doesn't, that's all just noise. It doesn't really make any difference. It's not going to impact how you invest. So stuff like the Rainbow Fair Flyer going from 29 to 17, even though it's only 12 spots, that's way more impactful than the Golden Glider going from 193 to 143. So just to clarify that a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's jump right to week 2 because week 1 is over. Thank you again for your patience. I definitely want to reiterate that. Bowser's Castle 3RT, you do have the yellow hard hat thanks to this level 8 unlock. So really good one there. If you want to take it all the way up, you're not going to see it unless you have it at level 7. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's a great one to invest in. This is exactly why we have this slide, because this is a great glider to invest in. If you do not have this one covered, you need to win ranked for whatever reason. Again, week 1's kind of the one preferred. But if you want to win, you're so close to the Gold Me Racing Suit. That one's going to be a sneaky one to invest in. You're not going to see it otherwise. For SNES, Bowser's Castle 3RT, this Larry Me Racing Suit at level 8. Dry Bones Dasher at level 8, and then the Gold Mantic Glider at level 8. For the remix Bowser's Castle 1R, you got the Iggy Me Racing Suit, probably skip on that. Gold Sushi Racer, probably skip on that. And then the Black Tinkerbell, I don't know, maybe I think you're skipping on that too. So none of these I would really necessarily keep in mind to invest in for Bowser's Castle 1R. You probably might even be pretty well covered on it, but I think the main one to pay attention to is that yellow hard hat. Then for multiple ranked items, obviously we have the 2 me suits at the top of this that were released this tour, the Iggy and the Larry. The Larry obviously with that level 8 unlock, and Iggy with that level 6. Black Me Racing Suit, Bowser Jr. Pirate. Shout out to Sergeant Spike. We got Bowser Me Racing Suit, Dry Bowser, Goomba Me Racing Suit, King Boo Me Racing Suit, Luigi Chef, Prawn Plant Me Suit, and Ludwig Me Racing Suit, all used 2 times. Some with unlocks and some with others. I mean, most of these are pretty straight up, except for the Ludwig. For the carts, this Dry Bones Dasher could be sneaky. 3 times use thanks to this level 6 unlock. However, its hitbox is just pretty lackluster. You got the Armored Rider, though. This one could be the MVP for a lot of people this tour. 2 times in ranked. That just absolutely bonkers there. Red off-roader used twice as well. She had speedster. This is, again, shows use for, like, this has been, you know, this has been one that we predicted pretty early on, and here it is. Silver King, a really strong one to invest in. Still could help cover a lot of tracks for you. And then 2 ones you probably shouldn't invest in. And then gliders, Lava Rocks, Fuzzy Kite, Gold Manta Glider, and Yellow Hard Hat. So when we're looking at All Cup ranking, there's a couple ones that you want to make note of. Kingbu Me Racing Suit and Bowser Me Racing Suit. 2 of the kind of minion suits there. Covered 13 of the 45 tracks, I believe it is now. We got Meowser covering 12 of those for obvious reasons. Mario Samurai as well. And then 2 covering 11 tracks, which is the Dry Bowser Me Racing Suit and Dry Bones Gold. And then we have a number of them covering 10. Some that you probably didn't invest in. Bronze is not a bad one. Luigi Knight's not a bad one either. And then, of course, Larry Me Racing Suit, thanks to its level unlocks. And then Gold Me Racing Suit used 9 times. You gotta love that. Anyone very invested in the meta is absolutely loving 9 usage of the Gold Me Racing Suit. Then for karts, no surprise with the Silver King, as it had a lot of Bowser Castles to begin with prior to the tour, and certainly one that we were expecting to use this tour. Dry Bones Dasher, the new karts, used 14 times alongside the Silver King. We do have Red Off-Roader and the Black Jingle Bell used 12 times. And then you have the Cheership and Gilded King used 11 times. And then a number of karts used 10 times. So none of these necessarily, I think, you know, some people invest in the Warrior Wagon, some people invested in maybe the Wild Black from back in the day. But again, you know, I think really the one you're going to want to use is the Silver King, Red Off-Roader. You might even have the Gilded King when it was back in the day doing pretty well. For gliders, there's an obvious one that stands out. That's the Black Star Shoot, 15 times, which is a phenomenal number. 8-Bit Boblil, 14 times. Gold Manta Glider, 12. Dry Bowser Umbrella 11 times, etc. So there we go. That is the end of our episode. We do have a little bonus feature, so if you do not like spoilers, look away. But so go ahead and we'll say goodbye to you if you do not like spoilers. We'll see you next tour. For those who do want to see spoilers, there has been some data mining, some predictions. Next tour will likely include, and this is all shout out to Koopa V Salot. Koopa V, we absolutely love Koopa V. All of our data miners, we appreciate what you guys do. But the tour will likely be called the Me Tour. The new tracks will be the Mushroom Bridge, all variants, the Piranha Plant Cove 3, all variants, Mushroom Gorge RT. The tour will not add any new drivers apart from the brand new 2 Me suits, which are Lemmy and Morton. The new karts are a fiery version of the Mark II. 4 new variants of the Comet Tail, which is red, green, pink, and gold. And the new gliders are a gold origami glider, and then 4 high-end variants of the Super Glider, red, green, pink, and gold. Now, here's one thing to take note of. The Mushroom Bridge will feature some new exciting vehicles, including a green Wiggler bus. So anything you want to say about that, Antilev, as we wrap up?
Yeah, first of all, I did not even realize Mushroom Gorge did not have an RT variant yet, so it's nice to see that one being added. I love Mushroom Gorge. Mushroom Bridge is a nice track as well. Really enjoyed that one, so excited to see it. And Piranha Plant Cove, also beautiful track, so happy that that one's coming back. Maybe see the old ones. My question on the new drivers is, where's Wendy?
Yeah.
I hope this means that Wendy Cooper is getting her own tour, because that would be cool.
Yeah.
If you are debating about saving rubies right now, I would definitely say at least put 70 rubies aside for Morton. He's going to have Giant Banana, so it's going to be another plus skill Nisu driver. I think regardless of the state of your account right now, whether you're free to play to Massive Whale, you want to be picking up the plus skill Nisu drivers at least. So definitely save a few rubies for Morton next tour. For the rest, looks super interesting. I'm embracing the Me meta. I know a lot of people don't like them, so I'm excited for a new Me tour. Yeah, looks amazing, and I'm looking forward to it.
Looks good, guys. I'll see you later. Thank you so much. Bye.